and welcome to another interesting episode of the Women series where we capture developments and stories that impact women. Hopefully today is going to be interesting as much as I said it, but beyond interesting, it is going to be revealing and we're just going to be sharing story. And I say this because this is the Mental Health Awareness Month and this is tied into the World Health Organization celebration of the World Mental Health. And to start off this month, I will be speaking with Vera Alex, the lead coach at Vera Alex Coaching Company. She's got a story to tell. So I have my story to tell, but beyond our stories, beyond whatever it is we share today, beyond our vulnerability, I hope that someone out there feels inspired and pick themselves up, embrace whatever their story, their dark moment has been, pick themselves up and move with it. That is what exactly we're doing today. In a moment, I'll be welcoming Vera Alex with me. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
Tune in to Web TV Daily to stay up to date and informed on the financial market, personal finance, and more. We have got you covered with all your favorite TV shows, economy and politics, market review, women's series, millennial talk, Islamic Finance Weekly, The Brief, exclusive interviews, events, and we keep you up to date on all the updates in the financial market with the market opening gong. Watch premium content, watch Web TV. Same news, different perspective.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the Women series where we capture developments and stories that impact women. And I'm speaking with Vera Alex. Hello, Vera. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing very well. It's so nice to have you guys literally do this with me.
Yeah, so nice to be speaking with you today. I mean, behind the cameras, we've shared like a little thing, but by the way, you look good.
Thank you.
You really look good.
Thank
and
you.
I say this because a lot of times we get that kind of compliments. People tell us, oh, you look good. I love you. But beyond that, so in my mind, sometimes I'm like, you don't know what I've been like. I wish what we've gone through can reflect on our faces.
Thank God it doesn't.
Thank God it doesn't, right? But when people tell you, you look beautiful, you look good, and in your mind, you're hoping that they could even know like an ounce, like a ton of what you've gone through. How do you feel? How does that make you feel?
I don't think I even want people to know an ounce of what I'm going through. Yeah, I'm not the kind of person that like wants my problems or what I'm going through to show on my face. You see, but then like it shouldn't be like a thing of I think it shouldn't be a thing of whether it shows on your face or not. To all human beings, ask how you're really doing. And I tell people all the time, when you ask how you're doing, don't just accept fine, right? Because it's like, I'm fine, and then you go. It's like, do you actually really care? Or are you just asking because we've been programmed to ask how are you?
And the answer, like the default answer is, I'm fine.
That's the thing. It's
I'm
programmed.
fine. And people just move.
Just move from there. Oh. And I always ask how, like rate of being fine over 100. I do that even with my students because I coach secondary school students as well. And I do that all the time. I'm like, rate your being fine over 100. Then when I ask that, they say like 50. And I'm like, you're not that fine. What's up? Do you see?
So now let me ask that question. How are you now?
I am great.
That's a fantastic answer. But how were you, if you had to look back, how were you? What is your story? How did it happen?
So, my name is Vera Alex. I always start with that. At the age of 5, I can't really remember the specific age, but I know that I was consistently being abused, sexually abused by my uncle. And I went from doing so well academically. So this is for the whole of my primary school, nursery school. I was really good academically up until I entered my first year in secondary school. That was just as one. And then I had like 28th out of 30th position. And then my family, my dad and my mom, they're like, they were really shocked because they knew I wasn't a dull child. They knew that I was actually smart and intelligent, but it was really shocking to them. I remember the look on my dad's face, like the first time I actually mentioned, like he saw my result, and so he was really shocked. And this is a habitual thing in my house where it's like they check your results, right? And you obviously can see their face. You say you're not looking at the results, you already know the results, but you're looking at their face to see like
To
their
see their
reaction, to see their reaction on it and all of that. So I think for the disappointment was a lot for me because I mean my dad really like had a lot of hope when it comes to like my academics and stuff. But then I settled in, and then it was a situation of they cared, but then the school did not as much. Do you see?
That's an angle.
Yes. So the school, they cared. That's my parents and my family cared, but then the school did not as much. And the reason why they did not is I don't know why they did
had
not.
other students.
Yeah, they had. And I don't think, and this is something that even happens with the educational system even till now. Is like get grades, get your A grades, get your B grades. Just make sure you're good academically, and any other thing that happens after then, we don't really care. Do you see? And academics doesn't really show how you're doing mentally, because I have found out now that a huge percentage of people that I have worked with that have mental issues or that are going through something mentally are academically smart.
Really?
I'm telling you.
Well, how did you go from being one of like the smartest in class to
So here's the thing. It's after I went through therapy that I knew that this was actually the problem. At the time, I obviously did not know. So this is me doing so well academically for a period of time. And while doing academically well for a period of time, during that period even as well, I went through the sexual abuse. After the sexual abuse, I then started to fail. That was my first year in secondary school. So you can then tell that there was obviously something wrong, and there was just nobody around. There was nobody around to talk to. How did my mom actually find out? My parents find out that I was being sexually abused. It was a particular day. Everybody was gisting in my mom and my dad's room. We're all talking and just talking about different things. It was a relaxing situation. And I just opened my mouth and I just said, that's how uncle has been touching me every other place. And they're like, what? You know, when the whole atmosphere literally changes, like everybody's laughing. So I felt like that was such a calm atmosphere to just blot that out. It wasn't like I thought about it. But then one question people, especially interviewers, always ask me is, why didn't you share?
Okay, so at that point, even if you did not share, at that point, did you understand the gravity of what was going on?
No, of course not. You don't know. And then here's the thing, nobody's talking about something like that
at that time.
So like it's not being talked about, nobody's sharing something like that. So it's like you don't even know what's going, you don't know what is going on is good or bad. You don't know because you're numb to the whole situation. So I mean, like that day, she packed his things, threw them out of the house. He left the house that day.
So he was staying with you?
Yeah, he was staying with us, of course. It was our uncle.
For how long did this go on?
I think for 4 years. Yeah, for a long time. Because even at the point where he was sent out of the house, he would still come to my school to pick me up from school. He was our legal guardian, right? So he'll come pick us up from school, pick me up from school. And then I think I was in primary 3 then, pick me up from school. And then when he picks me up from school, he will take me to his house. I can still remember that place. And then he'll take me to his house, which is not so far from our house. And then he would do whatever thing he wanted to do. And then he would point a knife or I can't remember the weapon in particular, but he would point a weapon at me and just tell me that if you tell anybody, like, I'm going to kill you, something like that.
How, as a child, you still didn't understand the gravity, but how did that make you feel at that time?
Of course, terrible. Of course, terrible. I think even that's the angle to which I literally started to talk about. Like, that's why I think I can't remember this clearly.
So what gave you the boldness to come out to say, that's our uncle has been touching
because of the environment. That's what I'm trying to say. Here's the thing with kids and children. If there is no safe atmosphere to share that kind of thing, they just would never.
Were you really close with your mom?
Not really.
Just the random,
and here's the thing,
relationship.
everybody is like, when everybody's just trying to make sure that we're financially stable and okay, so that like you don't get to lack as a child and all of that. So there's obviously the part of going to work. So there was no, that attention, that focus was not so much there. Do you see? So I mean, that's exactly what happened. And
at what point did reality set and you realized that, yes, at least you've moved past that age? At what point did it now begin to affect you? When did you realize that there's something called mental health, and then it started setting in and affecting you mentally?
I think when I went to therapy. And that's like
to therapy. How did you even realize
No,
that?
I was already older, way older at this time, way older. I mean, the effects were enormous. It affected my academics. It affected how I thought about people. I was afraid of men, boys. Let me even tell you this. I got to the point where when I went to secondary school, my first year of secondary school, I had a sexual encounter with a girl. So I was already open to sexual encounters. So I had my first sexual encounter with a girl, JSS1, and another in SS1. So all these things is like, you just don't know, right?
So
and then I hated boys.
A norm for you.
No. That's the good thing about it. So it was just twice. After that 2 times, I was like, here's the thing, I'm not attracted to girls. It's a different case if you're attracted to girls. We need to help you there, right? And then I wasn't attracted to girls, right? I wasn't attracted to girls, but then those happened because, of course, I was already sexually active. Not sexually active per se.
But
I knew that. Yeah, exactly. So here's the thing, after that second time, and I think it then dawned on me that it was even while I was writing my book and I went through therapy that it dawned on me that imagine, we say this all the time, broken people break other people. It's a norm. If you break a bottle right now, it's gonna break you if you step on it because it's broken. If you put a normal bottle on you, you're fine until it's broken. Broken people break other people. So it's like, he was broken, my uncle, and it's a cycle that goes round and round and round, except someone decides to break that cycle. Do you see? So here's the thing. I went through the whole girls thing, and then it dawned on me later that this was such a broken situation. And one of the things that I really regret majorly is those 2 girls, because I don't know if they were before. I don't know if they already had like stories, because I'm not close to them. That was like a one-time thing. I have no idea where they are right now. And every time I think about it, I'm like, if I was there first with this whole thing, it's a cycle, and if they never get to break it, all I do is pray for them. Do you understand? Because now it's an effect that you get, a ripple effect. It just keeps going on and on and on until someone just decides that, you know what, I'm going to break this.
So therapy is not one thing that is randomly spoken about in our society.
Yeah.
We have not really come to embrace it and accept that that's the only way people can heal from what is called mental illness, right?
Yep.
So at what point did you realize that, yes, was it through the help of your parents? Was it through the help of friends? Or you just woke up one day and decided that?
It didn't come in through therapy.
Did you read?
It didn't come in through therapy. It came in as an information, right? It came in as an information. So it's more like my mentor was doing a coaching program, right? And you would think that it's personal development you were coming into as a program because it's a paid program. But then it was therapy, because the kinds of questions that were asked, it dawned on me there. Oh my goodness. I have literally been responding to my past, not right now. So every situation, because I became so aggressive at life, right? My secondary school, they used to call me Margaret Thatcher. I'm telling you, you wouldn't even know. In fact, when my friends,
so sweet
that's what I was going to say. I was going to say that. When my friends in church encounter me right now and I tell them that I'm actually firm, they don't believe me. They literally don't believe me. But if my students, right, tell you that, it's like, okay, she's actually saying the truth. She actually is firm. So I was literally, like, that's what they used to call me. So it's like I was so aggressive about everything, things that did not make sense. It was then in that therapy session, in the midst of the questions and answering, it was an online stuff, that I realized that I was such a broken girl.
Eventually someone needs to open up. So a lot of people are in this darkness. That's the truth. A lot of people are in this circle. They have not realized it yet. They've not realized. But then again, this is one very important question I'd like to ask in terms of poor societal attitudes towards mental health. How, I mean, maybe your parents were open to it, they helped you during your, but how about your friends? Did you even have friends at that point?
Growing up, I would say I had friends, but not really, right? Growing up, I would say I had friends, but not really. And the reason why I would say that is because we were a clique, but then everybody looked at me as the least of the clique. And that was because I wasn't academically smart.
So you went from being really good to
really bad. And here's the thing, I went from good to really doing bad to really doing good again. Because even when I left like university, when I like had my CGP and all, I mean, I really did well. Do you get? So it's more like secondary school up until I went to this secondary school where what became my alma mater, right? Secondary school wise. And then like I didn't go through entrance exam. Imagine what would have happened if I went through entrance exam, because I would have failed so bad. I don't think they would have accepted me. So I just entered the school, and my first conversation literally with the principal just made me realize that, oh my goodness, like these people actually care. This did not happen in my other secondary schools, right? Where they will ask personal questions. Are you fine? Are you okay? Did they do a 100% job? Not really. But the truth is that those steps, those questions actually helped me to become the person I am today. Because I had my first leadership role inside of the school. It was then I realized I could actually talk. I could speak. I was a leader inside of me. Every other secondary school and experience made me feel like I was supposed to be more like a follower, right? And which is not such a bad thing. I mean, we're all following something. But in every follower is a leader. Do you see? So, I mean, this was secondary school that made me, that showed me all the sides of me, this whole leadership side of me, the side of me that wanted other people to help other people and all of that. Yeah, so that was it for me. That was it for me, honestly. I got into there and then I had my first 4 distinctions. It was so shocking because this was them in school and they were like, let's put our hands together for Vera. She had her first 4 distinctions. Like, they were not like first 4 distinctions, but she had like 4 distinctions. But I knew it was my first 4. But then like, she had 4 distinctions. When I saw my results, I was just looking at it like this. And then when I even got into school, university, Babcock University, I can never forget. When I was sharing my story later, after I left school, my university student were like, you used to fail. To tell you the difference was clear. It was like, you never seemed like someone that used to fail. So when other people used to talk about it, like, you actually really failed, like you had academic issues and all of that, it was because I was naturally a smart person. But like the whole situation just wrapped up, just messed up the whole thing, messed up how I responded to situations, messed up how I saw other people. You couldn't just tell me something very little and I will not blow it out of proportion. And here's the things I always tell people to look out for. If you shout too much, like if you raise your voice a lot, if you're very defensive, if you are too quiet, it's a problem. If you can't speak up for yourself without disrespecting other people, it's a problem. Let me give an instance. They told my secondary school students, they told them that they should share their thoughts, write it in a paper, share their thoughts inside of a paper and send it to me without writing their names. And then I said, nope, you're not going to do that. They're all going to stand in front of me and tell me their thoughts. And the principal was like, okay, let's try that. I said, you see the thing, you're training children to be able to speak to adults, to not be able to speak to adults, their feelings, how they feel about something without necessarily being disrespectful. The woman was shocked. And that day, we had such a great conversation, even with the kids, because what I did was that we helped them to see that you can actually talk to an adult, share your feelings and how you feel about the situation with an adult without necessarily being disrespectful with them.
Now, the central message is for people that have found themselves in this situation or similar situation, most especially women, because the honest truth is they are mostly affected when it comes to situations like this. They have other situations where maybe failures and whatnot, setbacks, depression and whatnot. It could be related to anything. But then many people who experience mental illness are reluctant to seeking help because of the stigma associated with it. Now, through your own story, I mean, one thing that made that you realized during your your period, your process was, that was the point when you realized that something called mental health was going on. How would you advise people going through this situation, same situation, to seek help? Because they don't want to come out. I had my own fair share, and it took me a long time to speak about it. And the moment I spoke about it, I cried the whole day.
That's it.
I felt really bad. I cried because maybe today is not a day for me to share my own experience, but someone died in the process. It was a setback, and I blamed the person based on that. And the fact that the person died really, really hurts me. And I felt like, I don't know, maybe because I said something, or I don't know. I honestly don't know. But it was really a bad situation for me. Now, it was the moment I spoke about it, I started getting healing. Yes, that was my own story. Now, in your own case, or for people watching, you are coaching people and you share lots of experiences with people. How would you expect them to seek help? And in terms of society, how does society now begins to embrace people like this and not to put so much pressure on them?
Society will always put pressure. So you just get ready for the pressure. It's not, you can't help society. You can't really help society. You can only help you. And you can only help people to help themselves. Because it's a natural reaction. We've been programmed like that. When you're 25, get married. When you're this.
That's another set
Yes,
of-
do you understand? It's like when you're 25, get married. When you shouldn't be 30 and not married, who have given birth. Or you should be a millionaire by 31. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's the world is already programmed like that. So this is me talking to people personally. And I'll say to them,
you might want to look at camera.
I think I want to look at you.
Me?
Yes.
Maybe.
I really want to look at you. The reason why I want to look at you is because you are like a representative of many of the people, do you see, that have actually gone through stuff and are getting help. I am still being helped because the triggers are still there. But then the good thing about it is that I know the triggers. Do you see? I know the triggers, and once you know, the thing about light is that once there is knowledge, once the light is there, you can then use it. But if you never had light, it's possible that you remain in darkness, right? So here's the thing. Go through therapy, right? And then there are some therapy sessions that are not as expensive. There are many of them that are not that. I know therapy sessions are usually very pricey and stuff. Go through therapy with people that share your values, right? That share your values on situations, right? And then I would say you don't even necessarily have to go through therapy. You can look for someone that you trust to just start to share. Now, when I say trust, I don't mean your friend. I mean someone that is your friend that also understands. There is always someone in everybody's life, right, that understands that when I'm coming out about my story or coming out about something, this person is a safe space to share it with. Look out for the person that asks questions. So the person doesn't just listen. You know, there's some people that just listen, take it on and go. You don't want to do that. You want to talk to people that actually ask questions. So how do you feel? So, because the more you ask how you feel, the deeper you get into the wound and the problem. And the beautiful part about healing, which is also the most ugly part, is that it gets painful before it gets better. That's how it is. So you said you cried for one day. Honey, I cried for months. I cried for months, right? It took me a while to get up. Even when I started to write my book, I did not want to, right? I mean, I was led by God to do that. So I didn't want to because I felt like I was already in ministry. I was in ministry for a while, and like it was really hard for me to come out my story. I struggled with it so much, so bad. Before I came out, I was like, and the thing is, it came out well because some other people that came out to share their story, they were battered, you get people who said this, people said that, and all of that. So one of the things I actually really used to pray to God for at the time was that my uncle would get better. I would get the opportunity to share his own side of the story, but he never got better. He died, and all of that. Yeah.
Your last encouragement, maybe in one sentence, to anybody watching out there.
It's not the end of you. Like a circumstance or a situation is not the end. It's never the end of you, right? Anybody can get up and get better and get whole through a situation. And getting whole is not an end in itself. It's a journey. We're all getting whole. And the beautiful part about sharing with other people and helping or sharing, just sharing with other people, is that the more you share, the less the effect is on you. Right. So
I think
that's it.
that's a good way to end this. It is not the end of you. Your story is not. It is. It might just feel like a dark story at this moment, but it is not the end of you. And on this note, we bring today's conversation to an end. Thank you very much, Alex, for sharing your story with us. It was quite inspiring. I mean, I learned my part of the story. Thank you so much. And until next time, thank you for watching. If you've got questions or comments, or you'd like to reach out to Vera, Alex herself, could you share your?
Oh, okay. So my Instagram is at the Vera Alex, TheVeraAlex.
Yes.
That's the Vera Alex. I'm very prone to answering DMs. Just make sure that you come with exactly what you want. Don't send me hi and expect an answer.
Yeah, you heard it from her. Don't send her hi and you expect an answer. Go straight to whatever it is you want. Yeah. If you'd like to reach out to me as well, you can send a mail to ayomide.oguntoye@proshare.ng.com. Please follow us on all our social media platforms showing on the screen. And if you'd like to read our news stories and watch more of our videos, log on to www.proshare.ng.com/webtv. And until next time, thank you for watching.